Hello. Can you tell me about your product?
Hi, Charles. Hi. So Dagger is a programmable CI/CD engine that allows you to define your CI/CD pipelines as code instead of YAML, and then execute them in containers, which allows you to run them locally, and then have the confidence to know that whatever happens locally will run the exact same way later on downstream in your CI provider. So where we fit into the picture is we don't necessarily compete or replace your existing Jenkins or Circle CI or GitHub action. We basically take over and compete with their configuration file. So instead of having a 1,000-line GitHub actions.yaml file, you will have a very simple file that then calls Dagger, and then Dagger is where you're going to define your CI/CD pipeline as code. And it's not like pseudocode or some special Dagger script. It's just Go or just Python or just TypeScript. So it's real code. So whatever you can do in code, you can do in Dagger. So where we help the AI community and engineers in general is AI pipelines, AI software is still just software. So all the same problems that people have had for the last 30 years trying to build, test, and deploy their applications to production still exist with AI-based applications. And Dagger is just as well suited to help in that area as it is for any traditional software as well.
Can you show some demo how it's work?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So here I have an example of a this is a GitHub Actions example. So normally on the very first day of GitHub Actions, I have a very simple file. It says build, test, deploy, everyone's happy. It's very simple, 20, 30 lines, life is good. But eventually, almost every company I've worked with runs into a situation where they have hundreds or thousands of lines of YAML, inline bash scripts, and just it's a complete spaghetti mess of code that nobody wants to touch or iterate on or work on. It makes it scary to develop the pipeline. It also gives it leads to this problem we call push and pray, which is when your git commit log looks like git commit m fix CI, git commit m add space, git commit m. It'll really work this time, I promise, right? So Dagger eliminates that entire class of problems by allowing you to basically hand off all of the complexity and the logic and the configuration of your pipeline into a simple program versus this provider-specific YAML DSL. So here I have Dagger call CI. CI is a program that I wrote. In this case, it's Go, but again, we support Python, TypeScript as well, and other SDKs are coming soon. So if we look at this CI program, what it does is it calls the lint function, the test function, and the publish function. These are functions that I wrote that are also just regular old Go. So if we inspect further the test function, that calls, it grabs a base image, it mounts a directory, and then it'll run some Go tests. So we're basically moving all the configuration and actual logic of what's happening in my pipeline into a well-defined, encapsulated program. One of the main ideas behind Dagger is we're introducing new primitives. So if you think about a traditional CI pipeline, you have exit codes and standard out. That's basically all you have to work with. So your pipeline is just a chain of non-zero exit codes and standard out. Whereas Dagger, we're giving you new primitives like container, directory, file, service. This allows you to really elegantly write testable, self-documenting code that is chaining together actual artifacts and actual things rather than just exit codes. The other thing I would show is that every time you write a Dagger function, you get two things. You get a library, so you can import this code into other projects and reuse it, but you also get a CLI for free. So when I call Dagger functions, it lists all the different functions that Dagger knows about based on what I've defined in my file, and I can execute those locally. So let's talk about an example here. Let's look at the lint function. Imagine if for whatever reason my linter was broken. If I'm using GitHub Actions, what that means is I'm going to go write some more YAML, I'm going to commit it, I'm going to wait, if I'm lucky, a few minutes, if I'm not, 20 minutes for the pipeline to run and tell me whether or not my linter fix worked. With Dagger, I can actually just enter into that function directly because lint returns a container, which means I can execute a shell inside of that container. So here I say Dagger call lint terminal, And what that does is it'll just like pop me into the container that's going to be running when the lint function is running. And in here, I can, see everything that's mounted. I can run the linter manually. I might download some additional debugging tools. I'll figure out what's going on, and then I'll commit it and move on. And then I know that whatever I did will work the exact same way later on in my CI platform.
Cool. Thank you.